Hey, my name's Nuum and I'm here chatting with Milky. I learned classical piano from the age of 6 till 12, but quit it because I didn't want to practice anymore. Ended up getting into electronic music, namely Skrillex, when I was about 12, and ended up buying a MIDI keyboard that came with Ableton, and just kept at it since then, and it's just sort of turned into what it is today. Peter Pan is about me trying to tell myself just to live and experience life and not like think too much about stuff, I guess. It was initially named XP because I sampled the melody from Secret in the Forest from Chrono Trigger, but that's like very hidden, and it sort of just, as I like wrote it, it felt very like, I don't know, like fantastical and whatnot, and so it sort of changed when I thought of one of the lines using Peter Pan. Most of my songs is me singing to myself, I feel, to try and teach myself a lesson, and this one is just about not overthinking. I worked with a Melbourne-based, but because I'm initially from Perth, and we met in Perth, a guy named Dylan Marriott. He's incredible and I love his work, so I went to him very like last minute and was like, look, I need a video. I have like this rough idea, and I think I wanted to explore contrasts as much as possible in the song and have the first half of the video reflect, like, I guess, like those feelings when you are doubting yourself, and the second half to sort of like open up. And I ended up like grading it and editing it to try and like really push that, but it's definitely important, I think, for me, for like Nuum to have a visual element as well, but it's not really forced. I feel it's just like my interests, and like from the media I consume, it just comes out pretty naturally and don't have to think too hard about it. There's a line where I say, I'll take you by the hand, I'll take you by the hand, and it's just the like one line that reiterates the most in the song. That one gets stuck in my head. And my friends often sing that to me and like swap out the words and like mess with me a bit. So it's sort of become, I don't know, yeah, the Peter Pan line. So when I was 12 and I quit piano, I didn't actually stop playing piano, but instead of like learning classical songs, I went and like taught myself like anime intros and like just a bunch of music that I liked. And I think soundtracks from movies like Studio Ghibli, for instance, really like all my chords that I use in my songs are like based from like Ghibli songs and like other anime intros, just now in like a different context. I really like making beautiful sounds and beautiful music, and so like infusing that with, I guess, my like background of like electronic production, influenced by artists like namely Skrillex and like hard EDM, which is what I was really into when I was younger, which is then sort of like blended into more like the PC music realm of like A.G. Cook and Sega Bodega, Sophie, and yeah, just infusing all of those elements together and then putting in a pop context is, I guess, where Nuum sort of exists as a music project. I'll either come with an idea that I'm trying to express, or just like mess around at the piano and think of a melody, or like try and create a really weird noise and then take that noise and put it into like a pop context and make it as like palpable to like a mainstream commercial audience as possible. It's almost like a challenge of like, I don't know, like the lead for Peter Pan is this really sort of like abrasive, like screechy, like and it's like, I think I made that noise and just wanted to like try and like push listeners to listen to sort of like stranger and weirder stuff. Coalesce have just been so supportive and lovely towards me since I moved to Melbourne this year, and I'm a fan of other artists on their roster like Lonely Spec, especially. I don't know, it's just been a very natural progression. Yeah. And they're such incredible people. So I'm grateful to be working with them. I think I really try and bring like sort of like that classic like rock star mentality to like a performance. Like before going on stage, I'll watch like for hours just like performances from like Bowie or Mick Jagger, and I don't necessarily listen to their music, but just sort of like the like utter conviction that they have on stage really inspires me, and I try to just like step out and like give it 150%, and I think that's what you can expect. Yeah. A lot more Nuum. You'll be seeing a lot more of me. I've been listening to a lot of Instapendo, No Rome, James Ivy, A.G. Cook, Skrillex, and a lot of Utada Hikaru. Utada Hikaru. I think 9 by Kashmir Cat. Maybe Summer Wars. If I've rehearsed a lot, and I rehearse in my bedroom per se, when I step out, it just feels like I'm in my bedroom. So there's no thought. It's just like, oh, cool. Hey guys, you just get to watch this too. Hannah Montana. There's a Melbourne-based band named Snackadactyl, and their song Air was like my #1 like performed song when I was like little with my ukulele. Yeah. I went with my dad to Southbound Festival, I think when I was 12, in Boston, Western Australia, and I saw Flume. I caught Machine Girl recently on their Australian tour, and that was insane. And I think also, because it was like the first show I'd seen like post-COVID, it was just so like visceral and like exciting. It was the same time, but maybe Porter Robinson Worlds or Maddie on Adventure. Backstreet Boy. It'd probably have to be something about my height. Yeah, I don't feel guilty about it, but I love Utada Hikaru a lot. First thing that comes to mind is Sophie, I think, just for how she pushed like what was like consumable, I guess, and like brought it to like a mainstream audience. Keep going. Don't stop. I think it became real for me, or like I saw it as like an option, or it like, oh, I can do this. I think it was in 2019, and I was living with my friend Rick in Tokyo, and we shared his like one tiny bedroom, but he's also a music producer, and he just had a very like cutthroat way of, not cutthroat, he just had a very clear way of seeing the world, and it was either do or don't. I think just spending a lot of time with him made me realize like, oh, I can do this, like if I just go for it. And I think at that moment I really started to pursue music as like a career versus just like making little songs in my room and whatnot.